Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for the week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the heavy metal psychic, and these are the horoscopes for the week ending August 22nd, 2015. It's our last official week of the sun being in Leo before we move into Virgo territory next week. So we got a lot of things going on and we're going to get right to it. And we're going to start, as we always do, with Aries. How you handle the day-to-day decisions in your life this week is really going to have a huge effect when it comes on your career goals this week. Big things are happening, and your usual get to it and get it done, move on attitude is really going to be in your favor this week when it comes to being able to handle all of the big things and changes that are taking place around you this week. But Uranus' squared position with Pluto is, of course, going to throw a little bit of a challenge in there when it comes to frustrations or things that don't necessarily run very smoothly in your life. And you know, we all have those little oopsies that take place from time to time. So the big thing here is, or the big challenge with this aspect is, it's all in your mind and it's all in your thoughts. And your thoughts, of course, have the ability to make or break the situation. If you're spending too much time entertaining frustrated thoughts or spending too much time focusing on a part of the process that's frustrating you or a person in the process that's frustrating you, this is going to slow down your oomph to actually get things done. And you want to get things done because getting things done is what gets you towards your goals, right? So the big thing here this week for you guys is to make sure that you spend more time focused on getting what you want and less time entertaining those negative things, because those things are going to blow over. They always do. And of course they're going to be replaced by something else, but you know what? That's life. That is how it works. Don't spend too much time entertaining your frustrations on what's going on. Spend most of your time focused on the things that you can do and progress moving forward. And if you can do that, the success is yours. So you guys have a great week with that. Taurus. Understanding where others are coming from is key to your success this week, especially when it comes to emotional situations or frustrations within some of your relationships. Now, when somebody is overly emotional or overly frustrated about something, it is easy to see how it looks like that frustration may be directed at you, or you may be the cause of the frustration. Rather than reacting to it on an emotional level or getting offended, take a few minutes to take yourself out of the situation for a minute in order to see what's going on internally with the other person. It may have absolutely nothing to do with you at all. And a lot of relationship mishaps and miscommunications oftentimes happen because there's a reaction instead of an understanding first. Now, this isn't true for every single circumstance in relationships. Sometimes it is all about you, but not 100% of the time. And usually only about 15% of these situations really have something to do with you. The rest of them have nothing to do with you. It's just the person around you that's frustrated and they're blowing off steam. So take the time before you react and take this on as your own to step out of the situation and see where the other person is coming from in this situation. Are they just having a really bad day and snapping because you happen to be there? Because unfortunately people do that, right? Or is it really something that you did? And if so, stepping out of the situation can help you understand their feelings without, again, taking on those feelings and causing the reaction. So you can have a discussion about it and be proactive about the situation rather than just be offended about the situation. It puts you in the awesome spot, and by doing this, you're able to actually be understanding of the other person, squelch this before it gets to be too big, and move on with your life. So you guys do a good job with that and have a great week with that. Geminis, managing your finances this week is key to being prepared for anything. Putting some of that money aside in a savings and being prepared for those things that just kind of sort of are thrown at you in life is really important this week. If you haven't started the process this week, is definitely the week to get this process started. Now, I'm not saying that anything is going to happen necessarily. However, Murphy's Law tends to dictate that everything, big things, and things always seem to break down or break or happen where you need the money when you don't have the money. But if you've got it covered and you've got a little nest egg in the bank or that emergency for a rainy day fund just in case something does happen, most of the time nothing does happen. It doesn't eliminate the problem altogether, of course, but it just seems to always be a much bigger mess when you're caught off guard. This week is all about making sure that you're never caught off guard in this situation. And by doing this, you're eliminating one big, huge worry in your life. What are we going to do if we're faced with a major expense? When you have the expenses or the money saved in the bank, you no longer have that worry anymore. If you're faced with a major expense, you got it covered and everything is taken care of. So this week is all about making sure that you've established that nest egg or that for a rainy day account, or if you've already established it, go back and take a look at it and keep it growing, because you never know. It may start out as an emergency fund just in case something happens, but later on that money could actually be very beneficial to another project that you have coming up also, and you won't have to delay it because you got the money, honey. So you guys do a good job with that. Make sure that you guys are financially covered for anything good, bad, or indifferent that's coming up, because you never know what's coming up. It may be one of those little challenges that life throws at you. It may be something that you've always wanted to do that's now right there in front of you. Either way, when you've got the money saved up, you are covered to be able to do either one. So you guys have a good week with that. Cancer, this week is all about those projects that you've left undone and kind of sort of put on the back burner for later on. It's time to go back and revisit some of those projects and take away and eliminate the human need to place these things on the back burner for all eternity so that they remind us that we don't follow through with our projects. Now, this actually is, of course, a very negative mindset to look at things, but as human beings, we have a tendency to do this a lot of the time by putting those things out there on display on that back burner just so that you could say, I don't follow through with the things that I start. This week, it's time to start taking some of those things off the back burner and understand that maybe they went on the back burner for a reason. When you started the project and you got to a certain point, you might have gotten yourself stuck. Or things came into life that took place that made you put that thing on the back burner because you had to focus on something else. But true great people understand that things, especially great things, need time to germinate. They need time to grow. And sometimes that growing period happens when nothing is being done about the project. So, for instance, I have a lot of crochet things in my closet that I've started that I haven't completed. And if I go back to it, and I might actually have a new burst of genius about what to do with those things that I didn't have in the beginning when I first started them. So they wind up taking on this whole new life that they never would have taken had I finished it however many years ago that I started that project. It makes it so much better because now those things actually are put aside for a reason, because they weren't quite finished or the idea wasn't quite finished yet. By doing this and by seeing it this way, you take a situation from I'm never going to follow through with this to I know that things take time to be able, for the energy to be able to grow and go in the direction that they're supposed to, so that when they are finished, they are complete, rather than trying to rush through something thinking that we know how to complete it. So this week, it's all about those projects on the back burner. Go and revisit them. Choose one that you're really, really pulled to and tackle it with everything that you got. Because now you're looking at it with a fresh look, fresh ideas, and all kinds of things that just weren't there when you first started that project. So you guys, kick ass and have a great week with that. Leo, happy birthday to all the Leos born this week. This week is the last week of the sun being in Leo, literally all the way up until Saturday before he kicks off next week in Virgo, and we're officially in Virgo time. Now this week is great for career advancements or putting together those ideas of advancements for your career in order to catapult you into something that is different and something that you actually something a little bit better than what you're doing right now, maybe, if that's what you're looking for. But as the sun moves on, he moves out of this trine with Uranus and moves into this opposition with Neptune as he gets closer and closer and closer to Virgo. And this opposition and the squared position with Saturn that he keeps throughout the week does make you feel like as you're trying to reach these career goals, you're actually shutting out the rest of your responsibilities, especially the most important responsibilities, the responsibilities to yourself and to those that you love the most or your family. And this puts you in a really sticky situation, and for a lot of people, scares them into not moving forward any longer with their goals for their career, because last thing you want to do is ignore all the rest of the aspects of your life in order to make sure that your career is stable. So at this point, rather than getting freaked out, it's time to take a step back out of the situation and really evaluate what it is that you want. You can make your career advancements and take care of your responsibilities to yourself and your family. It's these circumstances that kind of scare us into thinking that we can't handle all of these things and be able to be successful at the same time. But that's the fear. And you want to make sure that you can identify whether or not you're using yourself or your family as an excuse to avoid growing in another part of your life. Therefore, you're allowing the fear to take over. This week, it's all about evaluating and taking a look at it and making sure that you can handle all of those responsibilities that you need to handle, and especially those responsibilities to you. Because when it comes to your career, if you're not happy and you need to make a change, that is part of your responsibility to yourself and your family. You teaching your family to settle is not a good lesson to teach those people around you. They deserve to understand that life is not just about settling. It's also about going after your dreams. So, this week, when things get a little bit crazy and things get a little bit scary, don't jump to conclusions right away. Don't let the fear tell you or dictate what it is that you need to do. Take a step back, do a little bit of evaluation. You have control over the situation. Slap the crown on, and have a great week with that, guys. Virgo, with Jupiter in opposition with Neptune and the Sun getting closer and closer to your sign this week and also moving into that opposition with Neptune, it's gonna be sticky when it feels like your ability to shine and expand in your career goals is gonna take away from other parts of your life, specifically that family unit that's very important to you. However, Mercury is also in your sign this week, and as he moves along this week aspecting different planets, he aspects them in beautiful ways, specifically his trine with Pluto, which is allowing you or telling you how your internal mind or your thoughts or your internal communication really does have an effect on the situation. Worrying about not being where you're needed because you want to go do something else is definitely, one, going to make that situation happen, and two, prove to you that you don't deserve to focus on what you want because everybody else needs something from you. Now, this can come in the form of the situation actually taking place or others making you feel like you're wrong for putting your focus into something that you want, but at the same time, you're never wrong. You deserve to do what you need to do just as much as everybody else does. So if this is a communication from somebody saying, maybe you shouldn't do this, well, maybe you need to take a step back and evaluate some things within that relationship and understand why they're coming at you like that. Big thing here with you Virgos is, of course, you want to have everything in your life running smoothly and everything is perfect. And of course, we know that perfection doesn't work, but you also deserve to have everything in your life running smoothly. So, think it and you can be it. That's the motto for this week. And if you're going to go with the typical Virgo aspect of worry, It's not going to get you very far. So stop worrying about it and start being proactive about it. You can handle everything that happens in your life and still attain that awesomeness that you're looking for. So you guys have a great week with that. Libra, the dark moon is in your sign this week, and her influence of calling for change with different situations is definitely going to be felt this week, especially as the moon moves into your sign Wednesday through Friday this week. And it is going to be a bit of a touchy situation when it comes to those that you love and getting the support that you feel you are due when it comes to all of what you put out to other people. When the moon moves into your sign this week, she moves into a T-squared position with Uranus and Pluto that has you feeling that you're not getting the reciprocation back when you're always there for others and they don't seem to be with you in this particular situation. And it's very frustrating indeed when it feels like you have to take on all the responsibilities completely on your own. However, the moon's aspects with Mars really give you an emotional boost of energy when it comes to your goals and your dreams. So when it comes down to it, if you have to take on this responsibility on your own, maybe there's a reason why you have to take on this responsibility on your own and not receive the outside help from others that you would normally be receiving. And nobody can do this better than you Libras, guys. So rather than getting frustrated, get out of your head with this situation. The more power you give your feelings about the person that's not there or the situation, the more powerful it becomes, and your thoughts and your feelings become more powerful than the situation itself. Eliminate that. Walk away from it. You know that they are who they are. Circumstances are as it is. The lesson here for you is to keep on going with it and do it. You may have to do it on your own, and that's okay, because that is how it was meant to be in the first place. So you guys can stay out of your heads this week, because it's not going to do you any good, and have a great week with that. Scorpio, Saturn squared position with the Sun and Jupiter this week is going to have you feeling like you have to change who you are in order to be successful when it comes to your career goals. And that is a very sticky situation indeed, for sure. But at the same time as the moon comes into your sign, she reminds you of past experiences where you did indeed change who you are in order to be successful in something. And she proves to you that that didn't work very well at all. So she's given you these past circumstances to remind you that changing who you are does not necessarily mean you're going to be successful in your endeavors. Your gift to the world is you, your individuality, how you do things, your complete individual mark on this world in terms of what you do. And you should never, ever, ever feel like you need to change that or be like somebody else in order to be successful. True success comes from the individual and unique way that we do things. And by doing things in the same way as other people, you're not actually bringing something new to the circumstance, now are you? So this week, it really is all about being comfortable, being you, and when you're faced in the situation where you feel like you have to make changes to yourself in order to succeed, then you need to get out of that situation and look at it in a different way. Because if you're told that you have to make these changes, that's not going to work for you now, is it? You have to do it exactly in your own personalized, individualized way and rock at being you, not a carbon copy of somebody else. So you guys, be you. The awesome you that you know you can be, and have a great week with that. Sagittarius, the part of fortune kicks off the week in your sign, showing you just how lucky you are to be you, Saggies. And it is a wonderful thing. The part of fortune will be in your sign the first 3 days of the week. And she's really, really, really showing you just how lucky you are at letting things go. This is a really, actually, something that can be very easy for most Sagittarians. It's the small stuff, and most Sagittarians let it bounce off of them as they go and don't necessarily hold on to that. But the bigger things, the more deep internal the root, the more difficult it is for anybody to let it go, including you Sagittarians there. This week it's all about seeing the difference between the little stuff that you let go of easily and the big stuff that you have a harder time letting go of, and being able to identify that there really isn't much of a difference between these things. You can let them go just as easily as the small stuff, but you have to make the decision to say, I'm done with this and I want to let it go. And that's the only difference here, is that one instance you've done that and the other instance you haven't done that. This week, dare to be different and let these things go. You have no idea how much it's going to change all of the outcomes that are about to take place in your life, or all of the circumstances that are about to take place in your life. Even in some cases, it'll change the relationships around you. So this week, dare to let the big things go. Look at the big things as small things, because truly that's what they are. And know that once you let those things go, you have nothing holding you back. It's all awesomeness from here. So you guys have a great week with that. Capricorn, Pluto's aspects with Mercury and Neptune this week are really showing you just how much communication is important when it comes to communicating to those around you your needs in certain situations. Now, everybody seems to be able to communicate with you, and it's not saying that you Capricorns can't talk necessarily, but you don't always communicate. If you don't have time and there's a whole bunch of people coming at you, do you say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that? Or do you go, okay, I'll fit it in somewhere to my schedule? That is the typical Capricorn. This week, it's time to communicate with these loved ones that you need a break. And if you don't tell them that you need a break, you're never going to get that break. Believe it or not, most people are going to be understanding if you just open up, not in a crazy way, but in a way that just says, I'm sorry, but I need some time for me this week. I need such and such amount of days in order to get something done, or to take time for myself, or maybe just to disappear for a few days and have some alone time, because you need that too, guys. Even Capricorns need a rest time every now and then, and a break from constantly doing these things. So this week, communication is important. It's all about putting it out there, what it is that you need, and seeing the understanding manifest right before your very eyes. Do you deserve a break? Absolutely. Nobody works harder than you guys. So use your words and make sure that everybody understands that you need this break. Trust me, they will understand, and you really need that downtime for you anyways. So you guys enjoy that downtime. Make sure that you take it, because if you don't, you're not giving yourself you're not making it any easier for yourself. We'll just put it that way. So you guys, make it a little easier on yourselves, and have a great week with that. Aquarius, be prepared for some fantastic ideas this week, especially towards the end of the week, as the part of fortune rounds off the end of the week with some luck in your sign, especially when it comes to your thoughts. And these ideas, oftentimes, I know for me, are little messages from my guides. They're giving me clues as to things that I can do in order to improve all the different situations that are going on in my life. So when it comes to those ideas, the best thing to do is, once you get them, write them down. And you owe it to yourself to write them down, especially because you might get a whole bunch of them. And if you're going to get a whole bunch of them, you don't want to forget any of them. When the idea comes to your mind, write it down, even if it seems like it's something, not necessarily something that you would do, or a little bit unlike you. Write it down anyways. It may just be the basis of something that you don't understand is coming up for you lately. Write them down and don't think about them. Don't try and figure them out. Don't analyze them. Just let them be what they be. And when we're done with the week, go back and revisit them. And the idea that pops out the strongest to you, that's the one that you want to focus on now. And the other ones you can focus on later on. So you don't want to make the mistake of trying to do all of them at the same time either. That's really not going to work for you. One at a time, guys, one at a time. And this helps you also be open to what you're receiving from your guides, because oftentimes it's that first thought process that's the beginning stages of mediumship, and that's their beginning stages of them communicating with you. So you guys get ready for those awesome ideas and some new things in store, and have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces. As the sun moves into opposition with Neptune this week, joining Jupiter's opposition with Neptune, things are going to get sticky when it feels like responsibilities at home are the anchor that keeps you from being able to expand and shine when it comes to some of your career goals. But at the same time, Neptune's aspects with Pluto and in some cases with Mercury this week do show you how this situation has played out in the past and how you didn't get the desired outcome from then either. Now this has a couple of different outcomes here, just this particular aspect. One, by looking at it in the past, you might put in your mind that of course it didn't work then, so it's not going to work now. Wrongo. You don't want to go there. Look at the situation for what it is. What mistakes did you make? Chances are the mistake that you made was using your family responsibilities as an excuse in order to make sure that you weren't successful. Now, this doesn't make you feel better either, does it? So you don't want to do that in this particular situation. Step out of it and step out of your feelings on it and look at it for what it is. What are you teaching your family by not doing what it is that you want to do? You're teaching them that by using them as an excuse to not make it in the goals that you have set down for yourself, that it's okay to do that for them also. And so you're actually teaching them not a very good lesson at all. Now, it's not about sacrificing your responsibilities in order to achieve your success. A lot of this is taking place in here. And with Neptune's aspects with Pluto, it is all about the mind. So don't feed that fear in your head. That's the number one rule. When it comes to your responsibilities, your career and shining in your career is part of your responsibilities. It doesn't have to be your whole life, and you have control over whether or not it takes over your entire life or not. So this week, it's all about changing those past patterns and eliminating now by making this situation a different outcome from those past outcomes. And I know you guys can do it, so have a great week with that. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget to check out our links. We've got some classes coming up. Of course, you can always book a reading with me at any time by going to our website, and personal birth charts. We got personal natal charts also. That is your personal book of your life. You want to book those, and if you are looking to maybe purchase one of those for somebody for Christmas, better get those bookings in right now, because there is a list already and it does take a while. And if you want to make sure and ensure that those people get their birth charts before Christmas, then you want to put your orders in now to ensure that they are going to get them by Christmas. Also, coming up in a couple of weeks, we've got the 13 card tarot for 2016. It's starting on September 1st, so you don't want to miss out. Make sure that you're aware and paying attention, because as soon as September 1st starts, we're going to be promoting that reading and allowing orders for that reading. So lots of stuff is happening, because we're rounding the end of the year already and moving into the last 4 months of the year already. It's crazy, but that means that action's happening. So you guys have a rockin' week, and I will see you next week.